the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast here on this Wednesday morning. We're glad that you joined us wherever and whenever it is that you tune us in each and every day and making Auburn Blitz part of your daily Auburn athletic intake. Brett and Faith here on a Wednesday morning. Good to see you, Faith. A little bit of vacay mode going on right now.
I have absolutely no problem working with the view I have in front of me today. So all smiles over here.
It's your turn to be on that side of it. Usually it's been me this summer, but now it's your turn.
Right.
A little bit of rejuvenation before the season gets started here.
I think you and my parents knew that this was probably going to be the best thing before I sell my life away to football for the next couple of months. And there are absolutely zero complaints from me this week.
Well, again, everybody needs a little bit of a shot in the arm before we go on a marathon like we're about to go on. And so you guys enjoy the rest of your week for sure. But we're glad that you're here this morning. We're glad that everybody tunes us in wherever it is that they tune us in. And, again, a lot to dive into. We'll have a media viewing window on Thursday. Well, tomorrow. I mean, that's how fast this week's going by. Tomorrow. So we'll go over there, and I'll check out practice and kind of give everybody an update on what I see there. But also some Baylor notes. Want to talk about some of the things they're talking about on their side. It's always good to hear what the other team's saying about us, and because we seem to talk about them all the time, and we get caught up analyzing them. What are they saying about Auburn? So I've got some notes and stuff that you and I are going to go over, and think some interesting things to add to that. But also some season opener success. I know we haven't had the best seasons of late, but historically here of recent, maybe in the last 2 decades, Auburn Faith's been pretty good in season openers. We'll talk about that too. I mean, we don't lose season openers very often, knock on wood. But hopefully another season opener success coming up here in a couple of weeks for Auburn.
Yeah, I hope so. We've talked about, or I know I have touched on how important it's going to be that Auburn wins the season opener against Baylor this year, and how I think it might dictate part of the season and the way it's going to go. If Auburn has had the success in the past in their season openers, but still had the record and just in the past 3 years, I don't think it makes too much of a difference, but this year I really think it does.
Yeah, I think you bring up a great point. Yeah, when you look at it, it goes, okay, Auburn's been great in season openers, hadn't played out the rest of the year, but I think you just said it. I mean, this one carries a little bit more weight. We'll dive into some of those season openers here in just a little bit. There's some definite interesting ones, and again, all season openers aren't created equal, right? Some are warm-up games. I mean, we had one last year, and then you just kind of go, oh, man, you go out there and you play Alabama A&M, and it's just like, man, you're gonna kill everybody, even though they're a lesser-than opponent. It looked like Auburn was just clicking on all cylinders, and it was a little bit deceptive there. So we won't talk too much about that, but we'll dive into it a little bit later on. But let's talk about Baylor. I mean, again, that's what we're going to be focusing on leading up to the season here in about 16 days, I believe. So we're right around the corner, about to get in that mode where you'll probably get another scrimmage coming up, and then you're going to be really putting in the game plan and prepping for the Baylor Bears. But, what I've read and looked at with Baylor people is this loss of Pendergrass is a little bit more of a bigger deal than we're even making it out to be. Again, we've broken this down a million times, but Bryson Washington is the starting tailback for Baylor. But I watched a few of their talk shows and podcasts and things, and He was a dude for them, and a veteran, and so versatile, and gave them a lot of opportunities that they don't have now. And you and I kind of talked about that the other day. When you take a guy out of a lineup like him, I mean, you can just look at somebody that you want to compare him to with Auburn. Take him out, yeah. I mean, you're still going to have a good offense, but that whole repertoire of what you were doing with him the last couple of years is gone now. So somebody's got to come in that hasn't had those snaps, that doesn't have that experience. It's more than likely going to be a freshman that comes in and takes his place.
What have you seen or heard about Kaden Knight that Baylor's talked about and their teammates have talked about with him?
They're really excited. He's kind of getting the hype and the buzz that Omar Mson's getting for Auburn, Faith. I mean, it's very similar. Now, we haven't lost anybody, knock on wood again. Don't want to jinx anything, but Omar Mson's kind of had the buzz out of the tailback room for fall camp to this point. Not saying that the other guys aren't doing things, but Omar Mson's a freshman and really hasn't been there very long, and everybody's kind of been taken back a little bit about it. Well, when you look over at Kaden Knight from Oklahoma, and if you hear Baylor people, and they sound kind of like Auburn people, to be honest, they're like, well, if he'd have gone to Oklahoma, he would have been a 4-star. He would have been a high 4-star. If he'd have gone to Texas or whatever, and they go, well, he commits to Baylor and his ranking never moved. And they're like, so they when I was listening to some of them, it was like, man, we are so similar in so many ways, kind of like that. I hate to say chip on your shoulder, feel like you always get screwed mentality, but they're all the players are coming out saying, Kaden Knighton's the real deal. They're even saying that he's a mini Cam Scatterboom that played at Arizona State last year that kind of took the world by storm. I don't know. That's a little high praise for a guy that hadn't played a down in college yet, but that's who they're comparing him to. So
it's funny that you say that he's been getting the same comparison or buzz from Omar Mson, because Kaden Knight is 5'10", 212, and Omar Mson is 5'9", 213.
Wow.
And very similar build, very similar, you look at them the same. And it is interesting, though, that Omar is what it says on the depth chart, a fourth string, essentially, for Auburn. And, I mean, they're going to have to be going with a freshman who, like you just said, has never played a snap at the college level. And this is going to be very interesting and I hate to bring it up, but how NIL, you're getting all these offers and all these different deals coming right out of high school when you haven't played a single snap. And hopefully nothing were to happen to any of our guys, but our guys have played and they have been proven up until Darrell Robinson, who is a transfer, but he also played somewhere else. And then Omar, who's a freshman, but it's still interesting, just the unprovenness and how confident people really do get with these freshmen who are yet to see anything happen, because it's so quick that something could change, and they're up at the plate.
You just don't know. I mean, again, guys can look good in practice until they get in that game. And I remember Malcolm talking about it last year, and somebody asked him what was the difference, and he goes, the difference is you go from playing in, stadiums that have 1,500 to 2,000 people to a stadium with 85,000 people in it, and just getting acclimated, and it takes you a while. I mean, even going and practicing in Jordan-Hare Stadium for freshmen or for Baylor in an empty stadium is different than when it's packed to the gills and it's at night and everybody's screaming and there's all these external factors going on and you're trying to reel your nerves in. Look, anybody's line, don't care how good you are, if that doesn't take a little while to kind of get yourself acclimated to that environment. So
I'll never forget Bo Nix when it was his freshman year, and he was sitting there covering his ears. Was it Florida? Maybe we played at Florida.
No, we played at Florida. I was at that game.
And I will never forget him sitting there. You could tell that he was all over the place, could not hear what was going on, could not tell his left.
It'll rattle you. It'll rattle you.
And that is how it is. What does that mean for Baylor's run game?
I think it means that Bryson Washington's going to have to do a lot more. Obviously, I know that sounds like about a basic elementary statement, and it also means that they may have to rely on Sawyer Robertson to throw the ball a little bit more than they were anticipating. Now, again, we went through his numbers the other day. I'm not going to go back and rehash all that, but he's capable if they need to lean on him a little bit more. Obviously, he's a veteran, and they feel pretty good about their passing game. But I do know that Dave Aranda tries to be as balanced as possible. I mean, again, it's going to come down to is Baylor able to move the football on a consistent basis, and what Auburn's defense is able to do against that offense and force them maybe to do some things that they don't want to do. To be honest, if Baylor gets down, let's just use a hypothetical. If they get down a few scores, they may get in a panic mode and abandon the running game altogether. And all this stuff we're talking about right now doesn't mean ill beans, because they feel like they've got to speed the game up and they got to get plays in chunks. And I don't know. The game dictates what the end result is. Obviously, that's an obvious statement too. But we talk about that all the time, that you can't compare. I mean, again, if you wanted to do that, Oklahoma beat Alabama the week before Auburn played Alabama. And if you looked at it and said, well, oh, man, all Oklahoma did is run the ball and they didn't throw the ball harder, let's just line up and run the football. But if you get in there and turn the ball over 2 or 3 times and you get down, well, now you're not the same situation Oklahoma was in. So situations within the game dictate how the result is. And again, when you look at it from that standpoint, I think Auburn's defense that we've been talking about for 2 weeks now will have a lot to do with how much they run the ball and when they can run the ball and who's going to be running the ball for Baylor. Is it going to be all Bryson Washington, or will Dave Aranda feel confident to run Kaden Knight and some in that game? But he's obviously impressing in fall camp right now. So we have a guy like that too. How much confidence do we have that we're going to see Omar Mson game 1? Do we feel like he's going to really get in? I mean, all we hear and all we see is success from Omar Mson, but do you and I really think you're going to see Omar Mson get out there and get any significant carries at all against Baylor? I just don't think you will.
I don't either. Again, look at how many guys you have in front of him.
Right. So
I think Terrell Robinson is going to have more carries than him against Baylor.
If I were a betting man, I'd say yes right now. But we could all be totally wrong. All of this hype, and they may feel like he's the best option at this time. I'm just telling you and everybody else watching that if that's the case, then we got bigger problems.
Right.
Not because Omar Mson's not good and not that we're not glad he's on our team, is that a freshman comes in a very small amount of time and jumps 2 guys that have been there for several years and another proven transfer that's come in from another, from even though it's UConn, he had a lot of success there. So it would be a little bit concerning if we saw that happen. John said openers, usually one team very ready, prepared, one team not so much. Many teams rally or are very focused when they lose a key player. I mean, yeah, I don't – again, you can't go, oh, well, Dawson Pendergrass is out, just put a W in the column for Auburn. Not at all. That's not what anybody's saying. But it does tend to sometimes make other people step up. And we've definitely seen a guy go down and a guy come in and go, how the heck was he on the bench and how was he not starting over that guy? So, and I hope and pray it doesn't happen, but, Kaden Knight can come out there and set the world on fire in a few Fridays. I hope he doesn't. But you just never know until you see how it all plays out. But okay, so from an offensive line standpoint, again, when you look at Baylor, they feel confident. They feel confident in that unit. And, they also brought up a good point. They're looking at Auburn as the 11th or 12th best team in the SEC and a team that's had 4 losing seasons. Now, it pains all of us on here to talk about this and say this, Faith. But look at it from their point. They're going, the 11th or 12th best team in the SEC is coming into our house, and we're predicted to win the Big 12 by some publications or at least finish in the top 2 or 3. Are we going to let them come in here and beat us? I mean, they got a point.
They're not wrong by any means. Looking at our past 3 years, and if you want to look at it with Walker White from a standpoint there of how he was there thinking, okay, when I went to Auburn, I thought we were going to kind of turn things around, not because of him, but because of the coaching staff and
right.
A year under his belt, all that kind of stuff. Walker White's probably sitting there telling everybody, they said this last year, that this is the team. They're going to be a successful team this year. And that's you got to think about it. There was somebody that was actually on this Auburn team that's over there saying Auburn is not worth a damn. They can't do anything. They keep having all this hype and everybody's going to say they look good. But when it comes down to actually game time and calling plays, they're going to be all over the place. You got to look at it that way too.
Again, I think it's kind of neat to take the other perspective. I mean, we're flipping this thing around and looking at it from the Baylor standpoint. Let's just be honest. If it were flipped and Auburn was hosting, Baylor coming in, and Baylor was, the 8th or 9th best team in their conference. Now, I know the Big 12 and the SEC are not comparable. I get that. But Baylor's predicted to win their conference by some publications. Auburn is, at best, 11th by everybody. We've talked about that number over and over and over. 11th or 12th best team in the league. So if we were flipped, we would be going, yeah, we need to win the game. Yes, we should be favored, although they're not now. That's another maybe a chip on Baylor's shoulder now. I know everybody was like, oh, well, Auburn started off as the 1.5-point favorite. Now they're the underdog. Oh, Auburn's going to take a chip on their shoulder out to Waco, Texas. Well, now it's flipped, and Auburn's back in the driver's seat again. So now Baylor's going, oh, okay. We lose a player, and they think we're going to lose the game? Okay. So, again, I know that players don't really look at a lot of things like that. It's more fan fodder than it is anything else. But they hear, and they take notes, and they keep receipts too on things. So it'll be interesting to see. Glenn said taking a flying around defense on the road is going to be the key, I think. No question. I mean, an aggressive mindset, physical, athletic defense like Auburn is going to put on the field. And Sawyer Robertson, look, how big would it be for Auburn to turn them over a couple of times early, especially in the passing game? We got some guys back there, Faith, that we've been telling everybody about, just happened to know kind of where the play's going before it happens. From their football IQ standpoint, they always seem to be in the right place at the right time. That's why you see a lot of these interceptions in the spring and in camp. It's not that a lot of times the quarterbacks are making bad throws. This guy's making plays back there, which is very encouraging.
It is, and it's also, again, something you can't coach is that football IQ and the intelligence there. And with how well the receivers are at Auburn and the practice that our defense is getting, we've said over and over just the progress that each one has made and how much better they are getting day in and day out. And if we can, like you said, shut them down early, make them kind of get rattled in that early stages of the game, that again could set the tone for the whole game.
I'll just ask everybody this. Would you rather have Ashton Hawkins, Josh Cameron, and Kobe Prentice? Or would you rather have Cam Coleman, Malcolm Simmons, or Eric Singleton? You tell me. Again, you got to prove it on the field, but I don't recall seeing Baylor's wide receiver room in the talk of being in the top 2 or 3 in the country. But I have heard Ohio State and Auburn. I've heard Alabama. Again, I don't think we're trading our receivers for their receivers. So, therefore, going to your point, Faith, our defensive backs, yeah, they're going against probably pretty good receivers, but they're not going against anybody better than they're seeing in practice.
Well, let's talk about Baylor's defense that our receivers will be, lining up against. Last year, kind of tell everybody where they were. And
well, let's look at it. If they were in the SEC, which they were not even playing that level of competition, they would have been next to last in total defense, giving up, what was it, 20? What is the number?
26 points a game.
26 points.
Almost 27.
Yep, and we've gone through their results. So, again.
Let's talk about this really quick. Last year, we really struggled scoring points.
We did.
If they were giving up that many points
to everybody.
And hypothetically, if we were playing them last year, we would have maybe actually had somewhat of a game.
But, yeah, I think so. Based on those stats, it would have definitely helped them, and they would have helped us. It would have been the Cal game 2 years ago in Cal, like, which team wants to win the damn thing? Because nobody acts like they want to win this game. And Auburn finally made one play and won the game. And I told everybody this a few weeks ago, or maybe last week. You're going to tell a lot about performance. You can go in and win a game and it'd be ugly, and you get the W. I remember the Cal game. We started off the game with a pick, and it was terrible, and the vibe out there was terrible. Somehow we won the game, and you go, okay, we won the game, but that's about it. Because if that team plays like that the rest of the year, we're not going to be very good. And guess what? We played like that the rest of the year, and we weren't very good. But you can go out there and lose a 35-31 game where you both played outstanding. You didn't turn the ball over. Both teams just really played an outstanding game, but you got the L, but you feel a lot better about yourself. Now, again, you do not want to lose, but I'm saying that you can get a false vibe winning a game, and you can also maybe go, okay, we lost, but I ain't too upset about that. They just outplayed us. They just made a player, because we already said this is going to be probably the best defense Baylor plays all year. We went through the schedule the other day when we were on location at Le Martin Pizza, Faith. This is probably going to be the best defense they play all season. So from a positive standpoint from Baylor, it's not going to get any harder for them.
Up until one of their last games where they play Houston, and that might be.
Right. Might be. But who knows by then what everybody's going to look like.
Yeah.
What injuries people have, whatever. All right, for Baylor on defense, they're going to start 5 transfers. Okay? Now, I know we're going to start some transfers too. I get it. But they're going to start 5 guys, and pretty much their entire linebacking core is a transfer. But, again, they had to go out and do some things, because when you're giving up 27 points a game, you better go find some people to help. And in their 2 deep, they've got 4 transfers that are probably going to see action. So there's 9 guys possibly that were not even here last year for them that are going to have playing time to significant playing time. So, there you go. They knew what their L's were. But yet, look, tip you hat to Dave Aranda going, hey, we're going out in the portal we're going to return everybody on offense, save Kobe Prentice. So we feel good about that. And if you want to look at their offensive line, senior, junior, redshirt junior, senior, redshirt junior. Very veteran. So they do feel confident in their offensive line. And, that's going to be a matchup that we all watch. We've been bragging on Auburn's defensive front.
I was going to say it's a good thing we've been bragging on them, and it's a good thing that we've seen the things we have, because with their veteran offense,
it's going to be a good matchup.
Yeah, you really hope that Auburn can get it together. But like I said earlier, going and looking through their offensive line, you just said basically everybody is either a redshirt senior or a redshirt junior.
Yes.
And our defensive line, they're all sophomore, junior, senior, junior, sophomore.
A lot of youth.
These young guys, but
the time is now. We can't keep saying, oh, wait, just wait. The time is now. So, and the time is also now to talk about some of our partners here on the program.
Scent-A-Green, for air that's cool and clean, call on Scent-A-Green. They are the carrier experts in the state of Alabama, proud supporter of Auburn Athletics and a proud supporter of the Auburn Blitz podcast. Just because we are getting into the fall does not mean that it is going to get any less hot here in the state of Alabama, because it never stops getting hot. So you're going to want to make sure you get a carrier unit with Scent-A-Green. They are reliable, and Scent-A-Green will save you thousands of dollars, and we love saving money.
I've had the air on Christmas Day in my house before because it's 70-something degrees outside and everybody's burning up. So, that's what you get in Alabama. So go get you a carrier unit from Scent-A-Green. Scout Program Management, a full construction management firm in Birmingham, Alabama, and, man, they are the best in the business. So if you got a multi-million-dollar project that you're planning, Scout Program Management is who you need to lead that project. Again, watch them work. They're the best in the business. You'll regret it if you don't call them and they don't lead your project, I promise you. So call them Scout Program Management. And Bunkers.
Bunkers in downtown Auburn. Guys, we love Bunkers. It's finally Wednesday, which means they're going to be open Wednesday through Sunday. And we can stop talking about them and you can go ahead and get there, because it is so much fun over there with all the different games that they have on the golf simulator bays, as well as their great food deals, happy hour deals, all of the good things. Bunkers is awesome, and we love going over there.
No doubt about it. Love Bunkers very much. All right. Closing out with Baylor again, and we'll continue to talk about them. We'll get more notes as we head into, game week and all that kind of stuff. But I'll be over at practice tomorrow, so hopefully I'll do a little bit of a recap when I leave and kind of push that out for everybody. It's the first media viewing window for us this week. So the defensive coaches are available today, so we'll hear from them, hear what they've got to say. The offensive coaches were on Monday, so you heard a lot about that. We kind of talked about that yesterday on the show, some of the things that Ken Austin said, Derek Nix said. We even talked about the play calling stuff. I know some other people are probably talking about that today. But and that's always seemed to be like a topic with Auburn every year. Who's calling the plays? Why are 2 people or 3 people calling the plays? Why do they have it so mixed up? And we just talk about that till we just all just feels like want to pass out, just get sick of it. It is what it is. You got 3 guys that are in on the play calling, and they ain't a daggum thing any of us can do about it. We don't coach, and if that's what they feel like needs to happen, that's what needs to happen. So they're the ones that have to get the results on the field. So, all right, let's talk about season opener success, because we've had a pretty good bit of season opener success, Faith, going back to like 2006. Okay, what are we since then? I mean, we won, I guess, 15 of our last 17 season openers?
Yeah.
I didn't know that until I started looking at it.
No, I I did not know that either because, again, with how the past couple of years have gone, you would think that maybe
You would.
Yeah.
It just, again, I thought you brought the best point up. Don't get overly excited when you win a season opener because the results really haven't followed too much. Hey, but again, all season openers are not created equal. John, I'll get to your comment here, buddy, in just a minute. He's asking about bunkers having a fishing or hunting simulator. I don't know that they do. I don't know that that's one of the games on there. So, but we'll try to, hey, give us a reason to go back over there and check it out. And how about you go check it out, John? Go see bunkers and tell them Auburn Blitz sent you. We've played some pretty good teams. Lost to some of them and beat some of them. I mean, the Louisville game, we played in some kickoff classic games. We beat Louisville 31-24 back in 15. We beat Washington in 18 in Atlanta. We played Tulane. We beat them. We beat Oregon out in Texas. So we played some pretty good teams in season openers. Now we've lost to Clemson a couple times. It felt like we were always playing Clemson and never lost to Clemson, and then we played them, and now we can't beat them at all. But, again, going back to the weird 2020 year, COVID year, when you opened up with Kentucky and you beat them 29-30. We played Arkansas to start the season too. So we've had some pretty comparable or decent opponents to open up. Now, again, we've had Alabama A&M and, whatever, some lesser than opponents, but we've beaten some pretty good teams.
Yeah, we have. And again, it's no one up on how the season's going to go. But I think John's right saying that if the game was at Auburn, it would be a big favor. It's to Auburn's advantage. But
I totally agree with that.
With it being an away game, it is going to make it harder. And it being on a Friday night also is going to be a huge, just more commotion, more excitement.
Right.
So
we've had some narrow escapes. We sure have. Jacksonville State, we've about blown it on some, but we've been able to win some of those games. Look, talking about the schedule, you and I have loved the favorability of the schedule, even from the time slots we're playing the games. To mention that the only really morning game that we have is that Arkansas game. Everything else is that afternoon window or night option. So, everything kind of lines up the way you want it to line up, for Auburn. So, and again, not to belabor the point, but that kind of helps dictate whether a team's successful or not. We talked about Florida this year. I think Florida's going to have a really good team, but their schedule is massively brutal. And you know what? If they win 7 or 8 games, people may go, well, Billy Napier needs to get the heck out of here because we're sick of this and we're not seeing but if Florida were playing, I'll just use Auburn. If Florida was playing Auburn's schedule, they may be a 10-win team, 11-win team. Who knows? Right. Depending on kind of how things shake out. So your schedule obviously has a lot to do. You can be a really good football team, but it has a lot to do, with how the outcomes come. So, some years I think next year is going to be a lot tougher for Auburn. That's why you got to kind of take advantage of the schedule this year, because I think next year's schedule, we don't know it yet, but you kind of hear it's probably going to be Texas added. You probably get LSU or Ole Miss back next year in the mix. You probably ain't going to have Missouri and Vanderbilt anymore, even though Missouri's a better team. I'm not taking a shot. But which would you rather play on a year in and year out basis? Would you rather have Vanderbilt, Missouri, and Kentucky, or would you rather have LSU, Florida, and Ole Miss? I think we all know the answer to that.
No thanks. No thanks. rather keep it the way it is. Yeah, this is going to be the cupcake year that Auburn needs to get back on top and hopefully prove that our program is worth something at this
Right.
point.
That's it. I agree with you 100%. Let's talk about a couple more of our partners here on the program before we get off here. Old Number One Customs.
Aren't they headed to your house this week?
They actually showed up yesterday and delivered all the materials. So my garage is full of tile and grout and all kind of stuff. So we are in the process now. I think they're going to get started either Friday or Monday, depending on whenever they get all their stuff gathered up. But call them 334-752-6162 if you're looking for a bathroom remodel, renovation, kitchen, or outdoor living space or anything. They'll come check it out at your house, give you a estimate, let you know what it would take, how long it would take. Normally about 2 weeks, right, Faye?
Yeah, just 2 weeks. That's crazy. Brett, do you think you could be in and out of that bathroom, out of commission for more than 2 weeks?
No, it's going to be rough, I can tell you. But you know what? Sometimes you just gotta sacrifice. I know that sounds like a first world
nothing, though.
No, it's not. But until people are in your house, that's why you're glad it's only 2 weeks, because it'll probably feel a lot longer. You don't want somebody in here for a month. No, that's for sure.
Or 2 years if you're doing it yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And just you look at it and you don't ever get anything accomplished, and it keeps dragging out. So call over Number One Customs. You won't have to worry about that.
You might as well have a Home Atlas water filter duo put in by JFA Blue Plumbing at the same time, because that big bathtub that you're going to have.
I did ask Jake yesterday, by the way, if you've been hired by him, since you've been pushing the JFA Blue Home Atlas water duo on me, shoving it down my throat down here.
Hey, I mean, as somebody that's got eczema, if I am using any sort of shower that has a bunch of hard water without a filter, that, it costs a lot of money to replace those filters each and every couple of months, my skin just hates me and my hair turns so bad, and it's just a whole situation. And so until I'm able to have my own house and I can get JFA Blue Plumbing to come out there and install Home Atlas water filter duo, I'm stuck doing that. But you guys don't have to, because they are going to save you lots of money, because medical bills are expensive, and it's only $15.99 for a Home Atlas water filter duo, and that's so important for your health and your family's health. So call on them at 844-JFA-BLUE.
And then finally, Oliver Ross, Faith, again, proud to be associated with them. And it's tailgate season, it's party season, and they will bring trained and licensed and fully certified bartenders to your party or gathering and make you look like the pro. They'll have it all taken care of. They'll come in, set it up, take it down, and everybody's going to go, man, that party was awesome. And it was all because you hired Oliver Ross to come do it. And again, Buckmasters think so much of them. They have a convention every single year. It's one of the largest outdoor expos that you'll find. And 20 to 40,000 people go through that expo, and Oliver Ross handles all their bartending services. So if Buckmasters can do it, I know you can. So call on Oliver Ross and go check them out on their Instagram page. You'll be very, very impressed. So, Brett, just check into a hotel on 280 while your house is undergoing renovation. I can't do that. Got to be here. A lot going on, and so I don't want to stay in. I'm going to be in a hotel room enough throughout the football season. So I'm going to cherish every opportunity. Even though my house will be under renovation, we'll cherish every opportunity to be here that I can. So that's just the way it is. Well, anything to add this morning, Faith, before we get out?
No, looking forward to seeing what you have to say after you go to practice tomorrow. Excited to hear about that. And really just, I know we say it when we finish every single one of these, but just looking forward to the season finally coming around. It's
here. Looking forward to it. We've got high school football coming up next week. Wow. On our HSA network, we've got the 2 Champions Challenge games. Not called Champions Challenge anymore. They'll always be Champions Challenge to me, because that's what they originated as. But the Kickoff Classic games in Montgomery on Thursday and Friday, and then our crew will be in Opelika on Friday night for the opener with Benjamin Russell Opelika. So we're excited about that, and man, it's here, and we're all pumped up, ready for it. To not trying to fast forward anything. We're still enjoying a few days. I know you don't want to fast forward the next few days. You want those things to drag out. So, again, looking forward to the season. Hey, and again, thanks to all of you out there that tune us in every day. We are so appreciative of that. And again, like all of our content, make sure you hit that like button on each video. That helps us tremendously. And then, of course, go subscribe if you have not done that. So we will be back with you tomorrow. Again, Andy and JJ will be up at noon today for the Auburn Blitz TV show, and it'll be right back here on YouTube and Facebook. So make sure you check them out at lunch. And then Faith and I will be back. Faith, actually, are you taking tomorrow off too? I think you're taking tomorrow.
I was convinced that tomorrow morning I will. I won't be here, but I'll be behind the scenes doing some stuff.
You'll be behind the scenes. You can't stop working. You're a workaholic. You just I try to tell you to stop and you won't do it. So, but it's kind of I guess hypocritical because I'm the same way. I mean, I took a laptop to Jamaica and did a podcast on the beach in Jamaica. So what can you say? So anyway, I'll let you end it like you do every single day.
I hope everybody has the best day ever.
And a big old
War Eagle.